You are listening to Liquid Carnage. I'm Scott.
I'm Jason.
And we are back for another podcast episode. You can find us on Podbean. Well, I guess you found us on Podbean if you're listening to us.
Yes, that's true. But we want to push it to all the new people out there who have never listened. Because some people listen to the newest first before they go back.
That's true. So if you're a new listener, thank you for checking us out. We are hoping to get our podcast on other avenues such as iTunes and Podcast One here very shortly. So you can find us a lot easier and tell your friends about us. You can find us on Twitter at Liquid Carnage. At Liquid Carnage on Twitter.
You can also look for us on Podbean at Liquid Space Carnage. I want to make sure that does that.
Again, if they're listening to us, they've obviously found us, so thank you for listening.
Hey, and just a shout out to the people who are listening. We really appreciate you. We always do. We're always looking for content. If you guys want us to talk about something in particular, at Liquid Carnage on Twitter.
Don't be afraid to leave your comments either. Hey, great episode. Hey, you guys suck. We don't care. We'll take it all.
Well, we won't take this suck part.
Well, it's a free world.
And we'll get you.
There you go. Well, that's fine. It's in fairness, though, you are the only one that actually comments on our stuff so far.
Well, how about this? There was a legend. There was a legend out there that we had a intern named JP. And
it was like Bigfoot, like Sasquatch.
Yeah, Sasquatch. But to this point, there has not been a sighting of the JP in recorded history. So we do have a sighting, but we don't have recorded history of...
I've seen empty beer cans, so I know he's around.
Well... We have a special treat for our listeners today in studio.
In the Liquid Carnage studio right here.
Living and breathing.
Our intern.
Our second place finisher of the CrossFit Games from yesterday.
Scaled events. Clarify that.
J and the P. JP, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Glad to be on the show for finally.
Wow. See, it's been a while.
He's so out of it. He's not even speaking into the microphone. He's yelling from across the room.
Well, his voice might carry though. Yours is actually a little too close, so we'll back you up. We'll back it up a little bit. Perfect.
So
there we go.
I can speak from right here.
Well, having JP in the room is one of the biggest things.
It's a bright spot in my day.
It's part of my bucket list, frankly.
Really
to have him here is part of my bucket list.
It's always a part of my bucket list to have JP around. That's why we're backdraft. I go, he goes. It works most of the time. It doesn't work on date nights, though.
No, date nights,
it
does
not work.
You go and you can just need to go.
Call me later. Text me later.
Right, exactly.
It's cool. Call if you need me to bail you out.
Exactly.
But I'm glad you brought up bucket lists because I think it'd be a fun topic to talk about here today.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
As we've grown, we've matured, we've all had goals in life, things we wanted to accomplish. And, they've changed from your teenage years, your 20s, to your 30s, and in your case, your 40s. I'm not calling you old, but you have some more...
Old as dirt, my friend.
You have some more mileage on your tread than we do.
Yeah, I do have a lot more mileage on my tread.
So I thought it would be fun today to talk about the things we've wanted to accomplish, the things we have accomplished, and the things we'd like to accomplish.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're all three very different gentlemen, personality-wise. Did I say that right?
No,
I didn't. I said that I totally fucked that up.
Actually, if you think that he said it wrong, go ahead and Twitter us at Liquid Carnage and tell us, Scott, you fucked up.
If you think he said that wrong, tweet us. Liquid Carnage.
Twitter us. What are you talking about, man? I know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Pull up the Google, Jason. Let's find this. Any rate, back to it. So, when you were a kid, Jason, let's go back to this. When you were a kid, what is something you wanted to accomplish? Like, before you die, man, I want to be this.
Well, okay, I have a couple things on my bucket list that I never did. Okay. When I was in high school, I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. Saturday Night Live was the way I wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And my mother... I told my mother that when I graduate high school, I'm going to Saturday Night Live, and I'm going to get on Saturday Night Live. And her response to me was, if they'll hire an 18-year-old with no college degree, they'll hire a 22-year-old with a college degree.
Oh, mom for the win.
Now, what mom didn't realize is that son would have a child by 22 and already be in a long-term relationship, which both of those would kibosh any opportunity to go even try to get hired by Saturday Night Live. So
that is true.
While she was looking out for my best interest, I love you, Mom. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, what she didn't foresee is that I would make some decisions that would alter my path.
Yes, well, that happens. I think
I always felt like I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to do something in the theater, and I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. And that was back when Saturday Night Live kind of sucked.
That was back during
in the 90s. That was that late 80s, early 90s. That sucked.
That was that transition between Dana Carvey and Mike Myers.
Yes,
Kevin
exactly.
Nealon. Yeah, they went through some lean years there.
Yeah.
So you could have definitely perked up that show had you been given that opportunity.
I think about it now.
They had nowhere to go but up, so you can help that.
I think I would have been funnier now than I would have been at 18.
Yeah.
But
so making that your bucket list item, is there a character you would have invented to be on there, or do you have like a character in the back here like, yeah, that would have killed on SNL?
We did a talent show my senior year in high school, and they had me do some of the in between scenes, and I was one of the. You probably don't remember it, but back in the '80s, they had the. Raisins commercials, California Raisins, and
that was the first album.
I was a California Raisin. That was one of my characters, and I was doing a live interview with the guy, kind of like a Jimmy Fallon type of interview, talking about the terrible parts of being a raisin, and it's not all fun and games. That sometimes it's a real wine.
Oh my god!
Get it, wine. Anyways, that was my character I developed, so that wouldn't have made it. And then I was always really good with impersonations. I did a really good Richard Simmons, really good Richard Simmons back in the day, and so I might have been able to play with that. But that was when Richard Simmons was kind of a big time.
Yeah.
Now he's just a nut job freak that is in collusion.
Right.
Sorry.
If it makes you feel better, though.
Richard, that's not you though. If you're listening to podcasts right now, or the podcast right now, that's not you. It's a different Richard Simmons. That's a nut job who's in seclusion.
Yeah, because he was definitely not sweating to the oldies back in the 80s. So, funny story though. I was also, not to get sidetracked, I was also in a form of the talent show when I was in high school. We had the Mr. KHS pageant.
Ooh.
The Mr. KHS pageants, where it was like a beauty contest. And my two best friends in high school and I thought it'd be this great idea if we would rent a bunny costume, a pink gorilla costume, and borrow the school bulldog costume.
Okay.
The mascot. We're the bulldogs. We borrowed that. And we didn't want to practice our talent portion in front of anybody because we wanted to be a surprise. We were graduating next week, so we figured, what the hell? So we went to the thrift stores and bought cheap suits and cut them up and reassembled them with duct tape over our costumes. And we mixed a tape because that's back when you saw audio tapes.
Oh yeah,
we made
a cassette tape.
On a cassette tape, we made a mixed tape of the Ferris Bueller theme. What's that song? "I Touch Myself" by Divinyl.
Yeah,
and followed by Tom Jones' "You Can Leave Your Hat On."
Okay.
And we got out there for the talent portion in full furry costume, and we did a striptease. We even went as far to get thongs.
Oh my God, no.
And we ripped those off.
No.
And they all landed on the judges.
And hence why you're on a podcast and not on a video.
Hence why I'm on a podcast now.
Was that on your bucket list to do that?
It was not, but it was a funny story. Coincidentally, my grandpa, 17, almost 20 years later, still won't talk about it to this day.
So what was your bucket list when you were in high school?
I really wanted to be, ironically, I wanted to be a radio DJ. We had a station out of Phoenix that got broadcast up here called KDKB. And they had Tim and Mark in the morning, and those guys were hilarious. And I thought it'd be so cool to be a radio DJ.
So this podcast is kind of your bucket list filling?
Not anymore so much. This is more of a creative outlet. Now. My tastes have changed.
I didn't want to be a co-DJ with someone else. So no, this is not my bucket list.
I wanted my own show, man. I don't have to share top village.
Wow.
I just wanted to be Liquid Kern, not Liquid Kern Edge.
So I want to get a little feel about our intern JP. Like JP,
like a real
in high school, what was your bucket list item or bucket list items that you had to do?
Like bang the cheerleaders?
I think this, Try not to impregnate any of the cheerleaders.
Did I achieve that goal?
That you think? I saw a little bastard running around earlier today. No, just kidding.
Well, what's funny is at this point, if that did happen in high school, we've probably seen that kid at the bar by now because he would be old enough.
True.
He would be old enough.
Yo,
Dad?
What the fuck are you doing?
Dad! So, did you have any bucket list items when you were in high school?
One of the things I wanted to do that I have never done and probably will never do was to fly a jet plane. I wanted to fly a plane.
Now, that's actually a real bucket list.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I think we need to try to figure that out, Scotty. I think we're going to get a GoFundMe account to rent a jet plane for our intern JP. Hey, Scott, take care of that. Get a GoFundMe account.
GoFundMe for JP's
listeners,
jet plane
please, we're going to raise some money. We need to find out how much to raise.
He's not a kid dying of cancer.
Right.
He is just he's a grown man that wants to fly a plane.
Hey, but I could be a kid dying from cancer. If
it got me an entire jet plane.
If it pulls the heartstrings, we'll consider it.
It wouldn't necessarily have to be a jet plane, just a plane.
Fly it, but the fly one, not just fly in one.
Fly one.
No, I could be down with
I've
that.
flown in one before.
Yeah, I'd like to fly a helicopter very similar to that. You know, honestly, my bucket list item now, I'd like to take batting practice in a major league stadium.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, yeah. I'm a huge sports fan.
That seems like that should be doable, right?
You would think. Well, so you would think flying a jet plane's doable too.
No,
Or
but
throw out a first pitch.
okay, so maybe we need to talk about that. So to me, a bucket list item is something that you are going to do in your life, right?
Yeah, just
So-
one of mine that I've had for years.
Okay.
I want to see every major championship sports. Like I've been to Game 7 of the World Series.
You were at the Arizona Game 7 in 2001?
I worked for him in college, so yeah, we got tickets.
Holy crap. We have a legend here.
But I wanted to do that. I want to see a Super Bowl. I want to see the NBA Finals. I'll even go to the Stanley Cup. I want to go.
Right now, the Stanley Cup's probably better than the NBA
Well, yeah,
Finals.
right. Well, I don't know. The NBA Finals will be really good this year.
Maybe.
The Cavs and Warriors, they're on a collision course.
True.
And by the time this airs, congratulations, whichever team won. Warriors in 7.
I say Warriors in 5, but go ahead.
At any rate, though, that's been one of my goals is I want to do that. And it's not the easiest list. That's not the easiest thing to do, but it's something that's, you know what, if it can pop up, I want to do it. I want to go to the football championship for college football. I had the opportunity to go to the NCAA Final Four championship game this year, but schedule pending, it couldn't work out.
See, and that's the problem. One of the things that I've noticed about my bucket list is I put things in the bucket list, but like JP, the reality is I'm never going to be on Saturday Night Live.
You don't know that. You're starring as Smee in Kingman Theater's Pan.
That's true. That is true.
So for all we know, Lauren Michaels could be randomly driving by and say, you know what? This fucker needs to be on SNL.
Right?
Do you think that bucket lists are a good thing, though? Because it's something that is out of my reach. I might do it, but I haven't done it yet. So is it depressing? I mean, is the bucket list depressing?
I think it's a cool thing. I think it gives you something to work for.
Yeah, maybe.
I think there's, you don't, if you set a goal, it doesn't matter how unrealistic it is. If you set a goal and you have something to work for. Like, hey, man, it'd be really cool if we got to go to the Super Bowl this year. I know it's in Minnesota in February and it'd be balls cold. But, man, if we could figure it out, let's do it. Then what happens? In November, we're dicking around. We enter a radio contest or a podcast contest because we listen to other podcasts too. And we win tickets to the Super Bowl. Bucket list item achieved.
Do either of you guys have any interest in going up in space on those Elon Musk rockets?
Well, not the first one.
Right?
Yeah, no
Challenger.
shit. My dad was the kind of person that he said if I had an opportunity to go travel the universe, even if it meant I would never see you guys again, I would go. He wanted to see the stars in the universe and stuff. And
I can respect that.
I thought that's a bucket list that never happened. But nowadays they have. Within our lifetime, they will have rockets that take people up into space. Mm-hmm. I personally have no interest in that whatsoever, but some people might. Do you have any interest in that, JP?
Well,
I mean, you fly a jet airplane, fly a rocket. What's the difference?
What's the difference? I don't know. I think that was probably when it gets to that. If it's not mainstream, that'll be a financial never gonna happen. I mean,
oh yeah, because how many things on your bucket list now are just financially not gonna happen? I mean,
more than half, and by half I mean about 95% of them.
So that's a key important part of a bucket list. Does it have to be attainable?
I think so. I think within a reason.
Yeah, because I would say putting something on the bucket list that you're never going to achieve, it's like putting dirt in a flower pot and then never putting a flower in there.
It's a bucket list versus a dream.
Yeah,
it'd be a dream for me to be an Iron Chef taking on Bobby Flay.
Really?
Doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
Well,
but
you might be able to.
You never know.
The thing sad about a bucket list, though, is that if you never do achieve them, then all you have is a big long list of things that you never did in your life on your deathbed.
Absolutely. You don't have any regrets like that.
Well, you'd rather not, but, do you know what the origin of the bucket list is?
No, I don't.
I did some research. In 2004, the term was used, perhaps for the first time, in the context of things to do before one kicks the bucket, which is a famous phrase for a long time, since 1785. But it was the movie with Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson that really grew
that
the bucket list.
And that movie is what spawned these conversations over the last years.
Yeah, well, bucket lists are always good. Have you? So, do you have any places you want to go? Like realistic places?
Yeah, I'd love to go to Thailand.
Really?
I'd love to go to Thailand. I'd love to go to Australia.
I've heard New Zealand's better than Australia.
I'd like to go to New Zealand.
Unless you're from Australia listening to us, Australia is obviously better than New Zealand. Now that being said, New Zealand rocks.
No, I would love to travel. I'd love to see, honestly, Spain. to me. I have some.
Yeah, I want to go to Spain bad.
One of my favorite vacation spots, and I never thought it was going to come to reality, but it did a few years back, was New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. I've never been there. Noreen's been there a few times. I've never been there.
I love New Orleans. New Orleans to me is like, it's like I walk through the alleys of the French Quarter and the streets, and I feel like I'm at home. Almost like I've been here before, and I should stay there. Like my soul belongs there. Between the food and the atmosphere and the drink, I can never get enough of it. So going there twice now has been a bucket list item checked off twice, so it's amazing.
Yeah, one of the things I know I'm going to do, and I'm going to save money, is I do want to take the Around the World cruise. It's basically 4.5 months on a cruise boat. You go to basically every port of every country in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, you're gone for 4.5 months, and it's pretty expensive. It's like $50,000 or $60,000 a ticket to get on the boat. But I just think that would be an experience that would just be an amazing
Would you
experience.
ever, given the opportunity, would you ever hike or climb Mount Everest?
No, oh God, no. No, that movie, by the way, that movie Everest, you got to see it. If you have not seen Everest, you got to go see it. You're not going to be able to see it in IMAX anymore, but I bet that would have been pretty impressive in IMAX. But just watching them at Base Camp 1, I wouldn't be interested in that. I just wouldn't be interested in
What
that.
about hiking Machu Picchu in Peru?
Yes, totally. Totally different story.
I would do Machu Picchu in a heartbeat. I would love to do that.
That would be fun, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to go to Machu Picchu. You know what, Jason? If I'm starting this GoFundMe for JP to fly a plane, you start a GoFundMe for us to go hike Machu Picchu.
Hey, you know what? I'm sure we can figure it out if you can get a link on the podcast at Podbean or on our Twitter account. We need the money to go to Machu Picchu.
If we can fund this trip to Machu Picchu in Peru, we will podcast this thing on the trail in Machu Picchu itself and back at the base camp in the hotel. We will give you several episodes of Liquid Carnage.
Why do you think that traveling is such a great bucket list item? Is it because let's be honest, when you go to some of these places, green trees are green trees, grass is grass, butterflies are butterflies. They're not talking in Spanish or they're not talking in French.
It's atmosphere. It's atmosphere. You know, it's a different way of life.
Do you feel that way, JP?
Well, I think it's one of those things that when you see it, it's actually real. When you read about it, or you see a picture of it, then it's like maybe not so much. But actually being there physically makes it real.
It's not your everyday. My everyday is I'm jam packed, man. I don't have a free weekend for months. The way I go, so to take 2 weeks off to go unplug and go do something in some place I've never seen or never been, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's just to sit back and say, yeah, man, I've been there. It's cool as shit. You know what's cool? Because it has this, this, and this. And oh, by the way, the food is amazing.
Well, and they said that back in the 1800s, the period of the Enlightenment, what was enlightening about it was there was always a new place to travel to that you'd never seen before.
Oh, yeah.
In today's world, everything has been discovered. There's really not anything new that we're trying to learn. So everyone has it on their bucket list to go somewhere, I would imagine, right? Everyone has it on their bucket list to go somewhere. But once you've accomplished going to all those places, you got to have something else.
Yeah,
right.
You do.
And that's the part that now we're getting into. What things could we accomplish in our life that make us better? Mm-hmm. And some of the stuff. This is the thing. Some of the things you may not be able to. I mean, it may give you nothing more than I accomplished it. You know. Like some people, I want to run a marathon, or I want to do the Appalachian Trail. I have one friend, Adam. You're listening. I know you are because you're one of our friends. Adam wants to do the Appalachian Trail, which is basically from Georgia up to Maine. Yeah. And it's you do it in
the Pacific Rim Trail. Is
same thing. Yeah. And there's one more that goes up the middle of the state. And if you do all three, then it's some big, the Triple Crown they call it. Yeah. That's right. So he wants to do that. And I think about it. If it takes 4.5 to 6 months to do that, that is a bucket list item that is an experience of a lifetime. And they say that only 450, 500 people have actually done all three of them.
Yeah, it's as per previous episode.
Per a previous episode, we do want to make a disclaimer that no dogs were hurt in the building of this podcast.
No, I'm not sure I would ever want to hike one of those trails. I'd hike portions of it, but to take 4 to 6 months to go hiking, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You got to cover a lot of ground for that.
That's a lot of lack of showers.
Yeah, but that's also a lot of getting in touch with yourself, man. Finding earth in nature. Finding earth in nature, man.
Last year, we met a guy that worked at a bar in Williams that was training to go hike the Pacific Rim Trail.
Really?
And that's what he did. He worked to make money to hike. And I think he was working on the Triple Crown as we're talking about,
Scott, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
What's
GoFundMe account.
GoFundMe account. Yes.
GoFundMe account.
That's the third GoFundMe account of the episode.
I hope GoFundMe is going to pay us every time we mention GoFundMe.
We should actually talk about sponsorships.
We should talk about
them
that.
in Blue Apron. Yeah, I lost my whole train of thought on that one.
Sorry,
and
buddy.
Propel water.
And Propel
Just that
water.
you were saying that someone was earning money to try to go train for that.
Yeah, he was telling us about walking the Grand Canyon because we were in Williams, so it's only an hour away.
I ran down to the base of the Grand Canyon and back up in a day.
Because you're a fool.
But that wasn't even on my bucket list. I couldn't even imagine doing that for a bucket list. I just did it because I was a moron.
Now, that being said, have you ever done anything that ended up being on your bucket list that like you can look back saying, you know what, it's cool?
Like join the Mile High Club.
Haven't done that yet. I've joined the 3,500 feet club. That's possible.
Missed it by that much.
No, I don't think so. I did get certified in SQL language, which doesn't sound like a lot, but for me, someone who wasn't even in the IT field, to do that with no background, no experience, it was an accomplishment. It wasn't a bucket list, though.
I mean, bucket list is like you can look back in life saying like, yeah, this is what I'm proud of doing, and I didn't mean to do this at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
But man, that was fucking cool.
Yeah,
that was so.
While
cool.
you're talking, I'm gonna see what the definition of bucket list is.
I think we defined what the definition of bucket list.
No, we defined when it started. We didn't define what the bucket list is.
A bucket list item is something you want to do before you die.
Oh yeah, I guess we did talk about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that. That's the Alzheimer's.
A number of experiences or achievements that a person hopes to achieve or accomplish during their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Some of the other things, do any of you have an interest in doing a foreign language, learning a foreign language?
I took 2 years of Spanish in high school. That's more than enough for me.
So no.
Yeah.
No.
No. I want to thank Google again for having translator.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to be one of those ugly Americans when I travel foreign, but hey, man, I'll do what I got to do.
There's a bunch of bucket lists for doing like sports events, like scuba diving or learning something.
I
like
would like
that.
to get scuba certified.
Why is that? Why? Because I don't get that at all. I'm put myself in a place that in 10 seconds I could be dead, and let me go swim around. Nah.
I have this bucket list item that I would love to go swimming with sharks. Maybe not so much after that 47-meter trailer we saw the other day.
Yeah.
But I would love to get. I've always loved Shark Week on the Discovery Channel. Like,
you know what? Maybe you can maybe you can go with the snake charmers too if you're going to do it. Why don't you do that too? Wow. Come on, Scotty.
Or go to clown college.
That is fucked up.
For reference to our listeners, Scott has an immense fear of clowns.
And dislike of clowns as well.
Dislike and a fear.
I've always, whenever Shark Week was on Discovery Channel growing up, even this day, like, I watch it. Don't call me that week. I'm busy. I have sharks to watch. I've always wanted to get scuba certified because I thought it'd always be cool to go to the Bahamas or Hawaii and just see what's underwater, check out the reefs, and just enjoy it.
Some of that water is so blue
so
too.
Blue and crystal.
Oh,
yeah, I've been diving off Hawaii. When I went to Hawaii when I was 18 years old, we were diving off the boat with these giant sea turtles, and we got to snorkel through all these little like reefs down there. It was cool. But if you would have had your scuba stuff and you would have been scuba certified, you could have gone deeper.
I will say this. One thing that was on my bucket list, I didn't realize it was on my bucket list until maybe a few years ago, finding the right person. Once you find the right person, it's an amazing experience.
Oh,
wow, isn't that sweet?
Wow.
That's for Noreen. That's for Noreen listening.
Does Noreen listen to this?
Yes.
Is she
I think I just threw up in my mouth just a little bit.
I think she just threw up in her mouth a little bit too.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, why does a bucket list have to be filled with things that are so grandiose?
I don't think they are.
Well, I don't know. Going to Machu Picchu on a GoFund account or flying a jet airplane, it's pretty big. It's not a small thing.
I don't think going to Machu Picchu is that big of a deal. I think you can actually go to Travelocity and book it.
Yeah, but a lot of people, the majority of people,
it's follow through money. That comes down to money.
Jet airplane.
Him flying a jet plane is going to come down to someone's going to take one for the team and hit on the pilot and get him.
I will do that for you, JP. You've been an intern, but for now on, I'm going to call you Maverick fighter pilot JP.
No, it doesn't have to be a jet plane, just a plane.
Give me something subtle in your bucket list, something smaller that may be something that you could actually accomplish.
That I can actually accomplish
without major expense or planning you said yourself, our lives are so busy, sometimes we don't have vacation to go do that, or we can't break away to do those kind of things. Is there something small in your list right now that is like I know that one of the things you love cooking. Is there something on your bucket list with cooking that you say, I really just want to do this?
honestly,
because I'm hungry. If you want to go make me something,
I'll
get you closer to your bucket list right
California
now.
burritos.
Yeah.
I would honestly love to spend a lot more time in San Diego learning how to make California burritos, making carne asada the right way, but also I'd love to spend some time sailing. Not like on a motorboat, but actually like sailing, like with the jibs and the sails.
Oh, like the America's Cup deal.
Yeah, I would love to learn how to do that. I think that'd be really cool.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking, JP? Go fund me account.
I just think it'd be a neat experience. I don't have to like make it like a season, like this is what I'm gonna do, but fuck it, man. Rent a boat for a day, go out with someone who knows what they're doing, and just have them show you the ropes and have a good time with it.
That's something that's very doable. That is something that's very doable.
Well, I know that's why it's a bucket list item.
No, but if some people have bucket lists of climbing Mount Everest or doing that kind of stuff. How about you, JP? You got anything small on your list that's doable? Don't say Scarlett Johansson, dude.
Crap. Totally took
nothing. I have nothing on my bucket list anymore. Yeah, I have something on my box list, but nothing on my bucket list.
I think one that could be attainable that's probably pretty, uncostly would probably be like write a book. Something like that.
That's also a goal you share. You've also want to write. You started a book.
I have.
And you've worked on character development.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys should collaborate.
Maybe
you
we
thought
should.
about that?
No, I've never thought about it.
Maybe it's a coloring book. I don't know, but you guys should collaborate in a book.
Well, if you were going to write a book, what would your book be about?
This will probably sound kind of silly, but as a movie person, a person who has lots of movies, I always thought it'd be cool to write like a DVD review guide of, the movie.
That's actually a good idea.
It's almost like an online blog.
Yeah.
So, how do you take something in your bucket list, though, and move forward to actually get it done?
Take action.
No,
have free time.
And there's that too.
That's free time, take action, have money, do this, do that.
The first step's always the hardest step. It's like this podcast. We started talking about it back when? February?
We started recording in January or February.
We started recording in late February, early March. So we were talking about it probably in January, February.
If you think about it, we were doing the radio program 4 years earlier. Remember?
Oh, it's been longer. It's been
5 or 6 years. We did the radio program a month ago. Yeah. It was the Man Cave. Remember?
The Man Cave, yeah.
And that was a winter thing. We just clapped. That was a virtual clap, a high five that we just did. Self high five. So you've been thinking about that for a long time, but we never did anything.
That's why like I said, going back. But now, I wanted to be a radio DJ back in the day when we got that opportunity 6 years ago. Yeah, I jumped at it, and then satellite radio came around, and you realize you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, and they can't find you for it. Well, that just opened up the whole ball game, and now podcasts are out. Here we are. People can pick and choose who they want to listen to, so why not listen to us? So I guess in a roundabout way, this is now a bucket list item we're achieving.
How many items do you think like that you can identify right now are in your bucket list? Maybe 4 for me. Maybe four. How many people have like thousands, 100 things?
Well, it goes back to bucket list items versus dreams.
Hey, you know what? Do me a favor. If you're listening, go on to @LiquidCarnage on Twitter and tweet how many things are on your bucket list right now. How many things and what the top priority thing is.
And that's @LiquidCarnage.
@LiquidCarnage.
You're going to tweet us? You're not going to Twitter us. You're going to tweet us.
Twitter, tweet. You know what I'm talking about. Go on to Twitter and tweet @LiquidCarnage and a bucket list, and then how many things are on your bucket list. I would love to know. I feel like now, after talking about it for the little bit of time, I feel like I don't have anything on my bucket list.
You know what you can also do is you can also go to Instagram, and you can tag us in our Instagram site, Liquid Carnage.
Oh.
We're going to have an Instagram, too. We have an Instagram, so you can just tag us in a picture there. Even if it's a picture of where you want to go or a food you want to eat, or just a funny meme you want us to talk about, just go ahead and tag us in that.
Hey, if you want to write a cute story of why you want this, maybe we'll open up a GoFundMe account for you.
Apparently, GoFundMe is not off limits to anything we want to do here. Yeah.
What would be one charitable bucket list? We have a few minutes left. What would be one charitable bucket list that you want to do that you say?
Define charitable bucket list.
Maybe it's go to a foreign country and help kids in Guatemala, or maybe it's I'm going to become a volunteer tutor at the high school, or something like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like it has nothing more than it just feeds my soul that I did something nice for someone.
You know, honestly, with what I do professionally, I've always had to volunteer. So I've done a lot of work with the local youth here. So I think in that sense, I've fulfilled that item, or I've given back to the community I've grown up in. I always will give back to them, and I'll continue to do so. But I think I've definitely achieved that item already. I have a hard time going off and doing it in another country. I firmly believe we take care of ourselves first. here because there's so many kids that are starving or that need someone to spend some time with. We had a previous show about kids growing up today and what the worlds are living in, and it goes back to just being an adult that can spend a few minutes with them just to give them that feeling of validation that they do matter.
I definitely want to focus on the other end of the spectrum. I want to focus in the hospices and the nursing homes.
End of life care.
End of life care. I'm passionate about it to the sense of that's important to me, to give people who are closer to the end of their lives the knowledge that there was value to them. They offer something. Sometimes when you talk to these older people and you get through just that they're old and you hear these amazing life stories of what they accomplished and who they were. And, the sick person that we're looking at today is not the vibrant person that they were 50 years ago when they were changing the world or loving and creating a family. So I think one thing that's always going to be on my bucket list is to be actively involved in the other end, the more of the nursing home and hospice kind of donation of my time.
And that brings up something we can do. And I think it'd be a fun podcast, maybe a multi-part series for this. Is my grandpa was a POW in World War II.
Really?
He was shot down over Romania and has some killer stories. And he lives here in town, and I'll talk to him. I think
we could road trip over to his place.
We could road trip over there. Grandpa likes visitors, and the fruit cups there at lunch are amazing. So,
wow, I think that's a great idea. Talk to him. Let's do that.
I'll talk to him. See what else to do, because I think hearing his stories and his experiences, because he lived a hell of a life back then, man. And just the worry and the fear that my grandma and my great grandparents had because of the 1940s. They didn't have communication like we have today, and you were hoping that they were actually abiding by the Geneva Convention.
Right. There are no video cameras out there showing you what the real life situations were.
Exactly. Right. So, yeah, I think it'd be a fun podcast. And I think he probably has some bucket list items we can come back to that'd be really cool just to hear what he's accomplished and whatnot.
JP,
so I'll talk about that.
You got any donation opportunities that you want to put on your bucket list that have always been important to you?
Yeah,
what's her name? Candy.
It involves the Mile High Club.
Now coming.
You want to show as many people as you can how the Mile High Club works.
There was actually one I saw that I was trying to find here online. It for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. There was a bike race, like a bicycle race, or maybe even a marathon. But I don't see it on here. But I saw it on Facebook. I thought that would be cool.
You would run a marathon.
No, this
bicycle race.
This is the bikes.
You ride the bikes.
You pedal. I wouldn't necessarily run because I wouldn't do that. But
hey, I think we should end this by saying bucket lists are really important.
Well, it gives us
something to look forward to out of the grind of the regular day that we deal with every single day. Maybe we should challenge each other. Let's see. All of us pick a bucket list item and put to it and see what we could.
I will post our bucket list item on Twitter at Liquid Carnage. And also on our Instagram.
Are you going to tweet it or Twitter it?
I will Twitter tweet it. I will compound it with a Twitter tweeter, and I will get it out there, and that way people can hold us accountable. We can hold each other accountable for what we want to do for a bucket list item.
I like it, and I'll even post a tweet to at Liquid Carnage.
Yeah, you should probably tweet it on your personal.
I have a JJ at JJE Liquid Carnage, so it's my personal one, but I have 2 followers.
Yeah,
one is my mom, so I don't know if that really counts.
I'd be the other one too.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
You have 2 followers. Just put it up there. That's how you get followers. We'll teach you the hashtag game later on.
On a personal note, I just want to, and Scott, I know it goes without saying you feel the same way. We really appreciate the people who have started listening to us, who enjoy us, enjoy our talks, maybe disagree, maybe agree with us, but it really makes us feel good that there are people who are actually listening and kind of enjoying the conversations that we've been enjoying now for a few months. It's been kind of fun.
Yeah, what's funny is these conversations aren't anything that we don't have. We sat at Starbucks this morning having a very similar conversation, and you brought up the question, like, what if we just set up the microphone here and listen to us talk? Mostly because the sound would be bad, worse than it is now.
I do like the idea of maybe going to either the House of Hops or someplace, putting the 2 microphones up there and getting some of the background noise, having people just interject into our conversation. We'll just call it happy hour or something like that. Yeah. And just have people come up and have our friends come up and talk and give words of wisdom. Or maybe we'll pick a topic. So we should think about that.
For that, but I think it's a great idea.
I love it.
But anyway, I want to thank everyone for listening today. It's been a great episode. I think we've learned a lot about each other. That we've been friends for a long time, all 3 of us, but I don't think we probably knew these levels of bucket list items that we had.
And for those of you who did not believe there is a JP. He is our intern, and he is in the house.
And I want to believe that JP's lost son and or daughter, who's now 21, is out there. If
you see a guy who's about 40 who looks a lot like you, buy him a beer, please. Just do it. Just to make sure.
Run the other way.
That saves us $5 too. So.
Well, yeah. If they're 21 though, you have no legal responsibility at that point.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're clear now.
Clear.
You're clear.
That doesn't mean anything.
That's
true.
true.
That's a lot of back $5 birthday cards.
Right.
Well, we'll end the bucket list on that. My name's Jason.
I'm Scott.
And as always, if you're really not sure what you want to say, just do some liquid courage.